We've been very, very fortunate with some of the growth that Amazon has had over the years, but we just, from the beginning, we just saw how Amazon was growing, and we felt like that was an investment that we needed to make as a company. So during the days that we met, Josh, the big thing was, how can you get your meta ads going? How can you get all this external traffic to be able to grow out your Shopify site, to get customers on their customer journey, to get the email list, to get the subscriptions up so you can exit, right? That was the big thing that we were taught over and over and over again. And then we went in a completely different direction because we were having success in this path that wasn't as profitable in terms of valuation. And we just kept going at it. And until we ended up where we are today.
Welcome to the Ecomm Breakthrough Shortcuts. In these 5-minute episodes, we cut straight to the real stories, real numbers, and the real lessons learned from brand builders and entrepreneurs just like yourself. No fluff, just high impact takeaways that you can apply into your business today. Yoon, let's go back in time. I mean, you're an overnight success story over 17 years, right? So tell me about that experience. What did it look like from the early days to scaling past 7, 8, and eventually to 9 figures?
Yeah. I think a lot of it, you mentioned short-term pain. There's a lot of pain. So, a lot of late nights. The first couple of years were really exciting when you can grow the company, you can hit 7 figures, you feel like you have something there, you're starting to make money, it feels amazing, and you feel like you have something there. But then when you hit that wall and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get to that next level? If that's 8 figures, that's 8 figures. If that's 9 figures, that's 9 figures. Um, Once you hit that wall and you're trying to solve those problems and the solutions, it really pushes you to the test on who do you really have with you? Do you have the right people that are going to take you there? There was something that was said over and over to me during those days. The people that are going to take you to 7 figures are the different people that are going to take you to 8 figures, and the people that you're going to need to take you to 9 figures are going to be different than what you have at 8 figures. Um, and that's something that was told to us, by multiple people, consultants. And we've been very fortunate. Like I said, we've had our core group guys for 10 plus years, and these are the guys that helped us get you know through 8 figures, through 9 figures, and hopefully to 10 figures, which we're heading hopefully towards. So, with all those things in mind, those are things in the back of my mind. I always wondered or doubted. Hey, am I going to be able to? Am I going to be competent enough to help get us the company to where we needed to go? And along the way, we've had to add a lot of people that help bring a different level of expertise and help to us. But the core guys here have stayed together from the beginning and done a really good job adjusting to what we needed and really try to teach ourselves through what we needed to have to be able to get to the next levels. Um, Also for us, I mean, Amazon's been a big tool for us. I mean, we're really big on Amazon right now. I think, and I don't know, do you guys use these ranking services to see what sellers rank where and where you kind of rank along that path? Have you ever seen any of those, like Market Pulse or anything like that?
I haven't personally because I'm not even close to the top of that list, but I know you are, so I know you're looking at that. Where do you guys fall right now?
I don't really know what's out there, but we look at Market Pulse, just kind of see who else is out there, who's growing, who's really big out there and who's not. We always ask our Amazon reps, and they always kind of beat around the bush. But I feel like we're in the top 10 of all of Amazon right now as sellers, and we've done a really great job. But I think investing in the right platform that's going to get you to those figures is very, very important. And to be honest, the Amazon thing was a kind of a mistake for us, being on Amazon. But once we saw success there, we just kept doubling down on it until we got to this point. So we've been very, very fortunate with some of the growth that Amazon has had over the years. But we just, from the beginning, we just saw how Amazon was growing, and we felt like that was an investment that we needed to make as a company. So during the days that we met, Josh, the big thing was, how can you get your meta ads going? How can you get all this external traffic to be able to grow out your Shopify site, to get customers on their customer journey, to get the email list, to get the subscriptions up so you can exit, right? That was the big thing that we were taught over and over and over again. And then we went in a completely different direction because we were having success in this path that wasn't as profitable in terms of valuation, and we just kept going at it. and until we ended up where we are today.
I love that. So you've flown in the face of regular wisdom that everybody's like, well, you're gonna have to everybody on your team's gonna have to break off, right, when you cross 8 figures into 9 figures, etc. And you've proven that wrong, at least in terms of the core team members that have been able to stay there. And then in addition to that, rather than getting sidetracked with the valuations and saying, well, we're not really going to be valued properly unless we have a true D2C presence that's taken up 50% of our Amazon revenue. And then we also have subscription in here, right? Now, those are the metrics that certainly are going to add to your valuation. But Yoon, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you got started on Amazon. Amazon kept giving you better and better returns as you just kept launching new products. And even though, D2C wasn't a big part of your business, you kept focusing on Amazon, and that was probably one of your biggest growth levers. Is that true? Did you guys start on Amazon, and how long did you guys exclusively focus on Amazon before you dipped your toes in other things?
Yeah, so we were doing PPC back in 17 years ago, and for the first 5 or 6 years, we were doing everything else except Amazon. Back then, we were doing a ton of eBay, and one day we just saw eBay numbers start to do this, and then Amazon numbers start to do that, and we saw where what the trend was heading. And when we saw that happening, we just kept doubling down on it and learning Amazon inside and out. So we were doing Google PPC ads. We were doing different brands. We were doing a whole bunch of different single products that were out there that had nothing to do with each other. So we had 20 different SKUs that were doing 20 different things. And then as we started, how we got to manufacturing was, and this kind of works into the whole story, was we were working with co-manufacturers that were not really clean and not really good in terms of timelines, and they were always jacking up prices. So we met some of these people and we thought, "Oh, how hard could it be, right?" Turns out it was pretty hard, but we got into it and we started making products for ourselves. And then people started kind of asking for help. They said, "Oh, we noticed you have something here. Can you make something for us?" And as we started making products for other people, we had a lot of leftover ingredients that were made for premium products. So we said, "What can we do with this? This vitamin C that's left over. What can we do with this? It's a premium ingredient that's really, really good, high quality." And when Amazon came around, we said, "Well, why don't we just list on Amazon, make a vitamin C product, and see how it goes?" People take vitamin C, and that really took off. But we feel like one of the biggest things that we did maybe differently than other companies at that point was everyone was, and I think you talked about this in other podcasts, talks with other people, is when people were buying fake reviews and they were kind of gaming the system for Amazon. We just stayed off of all of that stuff. So in the early days when people were getting banned, since we stayed off, we were one of the few companies that were, doing this white hat, and it really gave us an advantage. I think gave us longevity, and that is a portion of, you know, building your company for a quick exit compared to building a company to scale that you want to keep maybe long term, because you would do things differently, I think, and that's one of the things that we did differently. We sacrificed revenue and profit on the temporary short end for the long game, and that really seemed to have paid off. And I think that's one of the things that Amazon really did commend us on early on in the days when we were working with reps was they were fascinated by the fact that our account was so clean the way it was.